Hey, good afternoon. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. We're here for Beard on King. This is episode 17, where I slowly work my way through a bunch of Stephen King rereads, somewhat keep up with new releases, go back and watch some films, this and that. So, what we're talking about today is Mr. Mercedes. And this is book one in a three-book series. The Hodges, the Bill, is it Bill Hodges? Bill Hodges series. I should know if his name is Bill or not. I just read the damn thing. But this was released in 2014. And this is a reread for me. I did the audio this time, but I want to do book two and three, and I have not done book two and three, so I went back and did book one. Come here, talk about it. We can kind of compare, contrast, see which one's the best one of the three. I really dig the covers on these. I'll say that first. This one's pretty simple, but especially when all three of them are side by side together, they really look nice together. This one's got the ice cream truck on the back. So I'm going to read you the synopsis, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. In a mega stakes high suspense race against time, three unlikely and winning heroes try to stop a crazy killer from blowing up thousands. What's that mean? Unlikely and winning heroes. Winning. I don't know. In the pre-dawn hours, in a distressed American city, hundreds of employed men and women line up for the opening of a job fair. They are tired and cold and desperate, emerging from the fog, invisible until it is too late. A lone driver plows through the crowd in a stolen Mercedes, running over the innocent, backing up and charging again. 8 people are killed, 15 are wounded. The killer escapes. Months later, an ex-cop named Bill Hodges, still haunted by the unsolved crime, contemplates suicide when he gets a crazed letter from the Perk, P-E-R-K, Perk, claiming credit for the murders. Hodges wakes up from his depressed and vacant retirement, fearing another even more diabolical attack, and hell-bent. Hold on for a second. Fearing another even more diabolical attack and hell-bent on preventing it. Brady Hartfield lives with his alcoholic mother in the house where he was born. He loved the feel of death under the wheels of the Mercedes, and he wants that rush again. Only Bill Hodges, with a couple of eccentric and mismatched allies, can apprehend the killer before he strikes again, and they have no time to lose, because Brady's next mission, if it succeeds, will kill or maim thousands. Mr. Mercedes is a war between good and evil, from the master of suspense whose insight into the mind of this obsessed, insane killer is chilling and unforgettable. I struggle with that some. I don't know if it was just me, or if the synopsis was written weird or what. I like this book. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It's better than okay, that's for sure. I mean, for me, the experience was better than just okay. Now, what is 5 stars is the audio with Will Patton reading it. And I made a tweet, that when asked what some of the best things in this world we live in are, no one would ever think to mention Will Patton reading a Stephen King novel, but Will Patton kills it. I'm a big fan of his work. I can't remember what the first thing I ever saw him in. Of course, it wasn't this, but, of course he was in Armageddon with Bruce Willis. But after years and years of watching films, of course, and a football fan, I, of course, remember him for Remember the Titans. But Will Patton reads the audio, and I believe he reads all 3 of these. I recently did Dr. Sleep in audio, and he does Dr. Sleep as well. I don't know if that's the limit of what he's done with Mr. King's books, but just really enjoyable to listen to him reading these books. So it's about a retired detective, Hodges. He's pretty depressed. Sits in his chair all day watching Jerry Springer. Got his dad's gun on the side table, contemplating suicide. And this Mercedes killer was one of the one of the remaining crimes that he hadn't solved, right? Like he had a list of 4 or 5 that, he had to leave behind when he retired. And he gets a letter from this dude basically goading him out of the recliner, goading him, out of, suicidal depression and into, I guess post-retirement action, so to speak. One thing that this book does that, and I did not remember this. I think maybe I did, but we open on the people at the job fair. We open on Augie Odenkirk. That's a cool name, Augie Odenkirk, and Augie's a good guy, man. He's gone to this job fair. He's prepared. Got his thermos of coffee. Gets there 4 a.m. It's cold, and there's he got his sleeping bag. Even there's like a mother with a child, a young child, and he's taking care of them, like gives her the sleeping bag and shit. And just a really good guy, man. You love some Augie Odenkirk. And of course, he gets snuffed in the very first chapter, him and the mother and the child, I think. So very, very bleak beginning. So, we really don't like this Mercedes killer from the get-go. A couple things I didn't like. It says Brady Hartsfield, he is the villain. Brady Hartfield is the villain. There's some heavy, heavy racist stuff in this. And look, I understand we're writing a villain. I get it. But it's and it's supposed to be cringeworthy, I guess. But it is hyper cringeworthy. I just don't know that, because this guy's like supposed to be like an evil mastermind, kind of. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's young, but he's very technologically efficient, very, good at planning and masterminding these crimes, very good at staying uncaught, basically, staying, uncaptured. But yet, it goes through these long racist diatribes, and for me, I just don't feel it was necessary. Like we already hate this dude. I mean, he killed Augie, he killed a mother, he killed a child, and I guess maybe this was to make us hate him more, but just the heavy use of racist, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but just that heavy use of that stuff, it really turned me off, and it's that fine line between turning me off and being cringeworthy on purpose, right? Being there to make us hate the villain. So another thing, Hodges has got a very, very smart, genius level, smart kid, smart black kid, that comes and cuts his lawn, lives in the neighborhood, destined for Ivy League, and just a really, really good kid, what do you call it? He's like, I guess, a partner in solving crime, not a partner in crime, but he does this thing where he slips into this, he has a term for it, like Leroy D-Light something, but he slips into this massa and all this shit, and that part, I don't know. Again, I just thought it was unnecessary. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hodges doesn't like it. Like, he keeps telling him not to do it. It's not like, Jerome is doing it for the enjoyment of the retired white man. It was cringy. And so I didn't really care for either of those parts. It's just me. And, when I feel these things, I'm like, am I being too woke? Am I paying too close of attention? I don't know. I'm just telling you I had feelings on both of those particular things. So, rest of it was cool. Like, I enjoyed the villain, enjoyed Hodges. I kind of enjoyed Hodges and Janie. I thought that part was weird too. I thought the romance part might have been a little bit weird. I mean, I get it that, there's ways you can make a young, attractive blonde woman want to sleep with an overweight, retired man, I guess. But money wasn't involved in that. So, anyway, you get what I'm saying. There's romantic parts that are pretty, like if you kind of like don't look at them too closely, but then I don't know. I kind of felt like the same feelings I had on those particular parts that I had from Elevation, with the two young lesbian women just needing the support and saving of the older man. I guess I don't know. I'm getting off track, but I had some feelings about that too. But for the most part, it was enjoyable. You know, we meet Holly Gibney late in the book, and honestly, that's one reason I came back to this. Was because, you know, I've seen a lot of people talk about the character of Holly Gibney and about liking the character of Holly Gibney. And I was like, what? I didn't really remember her from this book, but and I haven't done the other two, so I kind of wanted to get back into it for her. She doesn't play. I mean, she plays a huge role in this, but she doesn't come along until later, and I don't know that I'm in love with her yet. Yeah, I mean, I don't know when it was put out in 2014. It kind of felt like it was near 2008, the last recession, you know, the housing crisis and all that stuff. I mean, you know, I lived through that. I bought this particular place in March of 2008, and then the housing market crashed. But so, you know, and all these people are jobless and looking for a job, and that you know, it you know, the guy stole a you know, a 12-cylinder Mercedes tank, basically, and ran it right smack into the crowd. You know, that shit was brutal. It was brutal and ugly. And then you know, Hodges gets the letter. We find out that, you know, the lady that he had stolen the Mercedes from, he'd actually sent her a letter too. Two completely different tones to the letters, but basically kind of goaded her into committing suicide. So that's how Hodges comes in contact with Janie, and then later on, Holly is Janie's cousin, I think, and Holly plays a major role. But this guy's got plans, man. He's got plans to go out and a blaze of glory. Like, it's really kind of all focused on revenge, or you know, trying to, you know, goad Hodges into suicide, and then you know, there's some communication between them on this under the blue umbrella, on this, like, you know, chat site, and you know, it kind of like he just wants to hurt Hodges, wants to hurt him, but then he kind of shifts gears, and there's a part midway through where it's a situation with Jerome's dog, but it turns out to be a situation with Brady and his mother. That shit was pretty fucked up. That shit was pretty cool. I kind of liked the way that played out, because I thought it was going to play a completely different way. And if you read this book, you probably thought it was going to play a completely different way. And I'm glad that it didn't. Yeah, and then he kind of shifts into this blaze of glory, you know, thing. He's going to do this thing at this major event, and you know, and kind of stamp his ticket to hell or whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm interested in what's next. I think that I'm gonna not go right back into a longer one. I'm gonna do the audio version of In the Tall Grass. I recently did the film for this series, Beard on King. I'm gonna do the Stephen King and Joe Hill co-written version of that, and kind of compare and contrast the two, and then come back and do Finders Keepers. So that's it. I'd give it 3 stars right now. That's where I'm at. I don't know, I may go up, may go down, who knows. I think about these things all the time, but right now I'm at 3 stars. Stephen King, Mr. Mercedes, well-read Beard on King. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're enjoying all your books as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.